Tana, it's finally football season, but more importantly, it's fantasy football season. Remember, you played last year for your first time.
Can't wait to do it again.
You're going to do it again?
Yes, sir.
Bro, I still remember the days where I drafted you as a player in my fantasy
Back
league.
in those days, I was wondering what kind of fantasy was you really having?
Whoa. I ain't touching that, Tana, but if you're in charge of your fantasy football drafts food, don't wait until you're on the clock. With enough delicious pizza and wings to feed up to 10, Paisano's Fantasy Football Special has your whole draft party covered. For only $69.99, you'll get 3 large, 1-topping pizzas, 32 wings, and 2 liters of soda. It's the easiest fantasy football decision you'll make all year. Trust me. Use the code DRAFT when ordering the Fantasy Football Special from your nearby Paisano's Pizza today. Paisano'sPizza.com.
Coming up on the Santana Moss Show.
I've never been, but Tana frequently goes to Vegas. And Andrew Luck, at first I didn't get it. Now I get it. And of course, Tana and I go NFL predictions all the way to the Super Bowl. You won't want to miss this one.
I shall be king.
And taking L's, Tana, I got to give it to you. Say it ain't so you did what you did when you did how you did it.
And the Santana Moss Show starts now.
It's a Santana Moss Show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical fact.
They say they like our flow, Tana, but they love our ad-libs. Yeah. Santana Moss Show podcast back in full effect. Travis Thomas, Santana. More fire.
What's up, man?
What's poppin', man?
How you been, bro?
Well, I've been good. I feel like you went to Vegas. Am I wrong? Now, for the record, I am a degenerate sports gambler.
Yeah.
I don't do blackjack and craps, and I'm not really a degenerate gambler, but I do love betting sports. However, I've never been to Vegas, and I feel like you just got back from there. Am I wrong?
Just got back. It's fun today, though. I went out there for Bleach Report. They wanted me to be a guest on their podcast.
Was it cool?
I believe it's called Stick to Football, something like that. And me and Antrell Rowe. It's crazy how they got 6 and 6. You know, we both wore number 6 at UM. So we talk NFL stories, college stories, you name it. Great podcast. It's in the sports betting area of the, not mistaken, Caesar Palace.
What?
Yeah. So nice podcast. Did a bunch of stuff for the social media network stuff.
For Bleacher Report.
Yeah, for Bleacher Report.
Shout outs to Bleacher Report.
Yeah, no doubt. Portis did it like earlier that week, and then me and Trell followed behind. But it was a fun out. Trust me, pit stop. I flew in on Friday morning,
right?
And I was out of there Saturday morning. I got back over here quick. Yeah,
You've done Vegas.
I'm so far removed from those days.
Quick.
Like I actually sat in and played poker after I did that, and just like I don't want to do anything else. I'm straight. Like don't want to go see nothing. I'm gonna sit here and play poker.
All right.
I played a $300 game, won like $700 on that $300, and I was good.
Real
Good trip.
fast. Just give me peak career, money flowing, Santana Moss, young Tana, because young Tana would stun on you. Young Tana Vegas story. I know it exists.
I wasn't a stunner though. Like I never was. Nah. I had fun. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, if it's mine, I'm gonna do it and do what I do with it. But stunting for what? I've always been a guy that just, you know, I can have $10 in my pocket, and you know, you might look at me and think I'm stunting because I'm a look the part, you know, and I'm gonna do what I do.
Rich forever.
But a young story. Let's say Vegas story.
Vegas.
I think the one that closest to my memory is a little older Tana.
Word.
My last trip to Vegas was my 34th or 35th birthday.
Okay.
And probably like 20 of my friends, and then about 10 or 15 players from the Skins.
Wow.
We all flew about the OTA practice, and man, we went crazy. The only reason why I say that's the one time I can really say I stunned. I didn't try to. I was going there. I knew what I was going to spend.
Right.
I'm not a big gambler because I know the casino never loses. So
but you were surrounded by money on that trip because you had players, you had your closest peoples.
The thing that got me is, you know, when you go to different clubs, you know you're gonna pay 5,000, whatever it might be.
VIP, bottle service, yada yada.
You in Vegas, you're gonna get tables. I had got my table for an event for a particular night, and the guys who came up from the Skins, it was like, okay, get me a table. Not saying no names. They said, get me a table. Two guys, get me a table. So I told the hostess, hey, I need 2 more tables for, such and such. Okay, since such and such wasn't there, I had to put my card down for it.
Oh no!
And you already know how this happened.
Yeah.
You leave after that night, and they telling me, well, you had to pay for those 2 tables too because they never showed up.
They never showed?
They had a long day, and you call them like, hey man, we already here. All right, we gonna be there, man. I'm trying to wake up, get up together. And that wasn't even the night that we was really partying. My particular birthday night was going to be the next night. So I ended up paying for those other 2 tables that I didn't expect, and the bill was ridiculous. Like I don't even plan on sharing it today.
But you collected, right?
I mean, look, this is another part of me that you don't know of. You might know of, but you don't. I fought it with the club. I had my manager get on. I'm like, look, man, we shouldn't have to pay for this. These guys never showed up.
Right.
The one thing that happened though with the group of people who was there, that we all was so it was so large. There was so many of us that they spread it out to those tables. So even though one table had all the drinks, which was mine, or had all the stuff, they basically looked at it as, well, you took up all that space.
Oh my
God.
God.
It was kind of on me at the end of the day, and first thing my manager's like, well, you got to get this money from these 2 guys. I'm like, you know what? I won't. You know why? Because I should have been smarter and not put that on my card. And I told the players, don't get me wrong. I told them that night. I told them the next night at my party, I'm like, bro, I paid for y'all tables. They're like, nah. So one of the guys was like, well, I'm buying drinks tonight for you.
Okay.
The other guy was like, man, they shouldn't do that to you, man. Oh, man, I ain't doing that. So, look, I'm not telling you this because I want money from you. I'm just letting you know. So if I ever need you, I'm going to come at you. And that's the type of guy I am. I'm not.
Like I owe you
I'm
one.
not finna be like, hands open, you need to pay me. Nah, I got you. I'm one up on you. So if I ever have to come to you and need a favor, then you already know I'm good for it. So that's how I looked at it, and that's how I do things, man. I'm not a guy. If I had to go in my pocket for you, I ain't looking for it because I had it. If I don't have it, I'm not going in my pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But come down the line when I need something, I better not hear no stutters or no ifs, ands, or buts, come through.
Yeah, that's how you know there's a difference between us financially. Because for me, I would as soon as they said, well, you got to reserve these tables, I said, okay, hold on, let me make this phone call. I need your card number, dog, because my limit on my card will not allow said amount. So I respect that you did that.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was my birthday weekend, so I already had a number in my head that I was going to spend.
Right.
Didn't plan on those 2 tables to being part of it, but at the end of the day, we only live once, right? So I enjoyed myself. And
YOLO. Andrew Luck is living his best life.
Yeah.
Retiring from the game with the quickness, age 29, in the prime of his career. Clearly, I mean, what could have been a Hall of Fame career. Were you shocked at the Andrew Luck retirement?
I was shocked. And I was, at the same time, just knowing what he'd been through the last few years. When I saw that press conference, I felt him. I'm like, damn, I was there before. And I was there early in my career. So to see him a little later in his career being there, and then the weight on his shoulders is a lot different from mine. You're the quarterback of a franchise. You're the franchise.
Yeah.
So, certain guys cut differently, and guys take things differently, and they be able to hold it and dish it in different places and be able to exhale differently than others. I was a young guy trying to make a name for myself in this league, and out the gate I got hurt. Now, little did I know that one injury was going to lead to a bunch of other injuries or setbacks.
Sure.
I can't say injuries, but setbacks. And I didn't know. I was too young to know. That was my first time experiencing a knee injury. And it seemed like every year I would have a pulled groin, have a pulled quad, have a pulled hamstring. It just didn't get right for those 4 years I was in New York. And I would be healthy one year, but I knew being healthy, it was one of those things I had to make sure I stayed healthy by doing different things to stay healthy and sacrificing different things also, making sacrifices of what should I eat, drink, sleep, how did I hang, all that stuff played a role into me being healthy and being able to play. So just hearing his press conference, and just saying the guy said he was drained mentally and physically. The fun of the game had been taken away from him. Listening to Luck in that press conference, man, I felt for him. And, I was even, I was hurt a little bit just to hear the fans go at it the way they did, because here's a guy that went out there and put his body on the line, beyond the measures that he should have when it comes to playing that position. They taking licks off the quarterback these days, and he was going out there dishing some and trying to say, "Hey, you come hit me," but I'm trying to do something, legendary for this team. And I think that's why he's in the situation he's in right now. He played the game on a different level, and it cost him his health.
Let me defend the fans for a minute.
Yeah.
This is very this is like personal for me. It's a difficult rope that I walk every day, because the reason I got, and we've talked about this on the show, the reason I got into this industry is because I'm a fan. Okay, I love sports. It's all I know. So nowadays, it's like my Gemini moment. I feel like I'm looking at things from two angles. Here's what I mean. Saturday night, I believe it was, when the news came out. Matter of fact, I was watching your alma mater play college football. The news comes out. My initial reaction, well, there were two. First, it was, this is fake news. No shot, he's retiring. Then as the night went on, oh, no, he's really retiring. My first reaction, honestly, was, you mother sucker. I put money on the Colts to win the Super Bowl because he was healthy finally, right? Good defense, good offensive line. They're well coached. I felt like if they could win enough regular season games to get some home playoff games and not go to Foxborough, this was their year. So initially, as a fan, I said, man, I can't imagine if I was actually a Colts fan. I just had money on the team. Then, as I calmed down a bit, and I said, okay, the media and the human side of me, right, is this makes sense. The guy, he said he fell out of love with football.
I'm so out of love with you. I've got nothing left for you, nothing.
Physically, he didn't want to do it anymore. Mentally, he was starting to get there too. And so I understood.
Yeah.
And the days since, I've understood. But, look, to defend the fans a little, people are like, well, they shouldn't have booed him. Of course, it's easy for us to say that in our positions now. But when you're a fan of a team, I kind of get it, in the moment. I bet you now those fans who booed have since chilled out. I think. I don't know. Maybe they're idiots and they're still booing, right?
Yeah,
But to me, I do see, honestly, Tana, and this happens a lot in sports, and I think it's just my position maybe, but I see both sides. I see the fan side because I am one. I am a fanboy. But then I work in this, and I work next to guys like you who have done this their entire careers, and I hear the other sides.
Yeah, I also think that the fans actually got a chance to, take back those boos after they listened to him.
Yes.
I mean, when it comes down to it, the last 4 years, he spoke out there and just told you straight up, truthfully, that, hey, it was like an ongoing cycle. Like I couldn't shake it. I'm rehabbing to play, and then when the season's over with, I'm trying to rehab again just to be healthy enough to get into the next season. So
right.
I understand it. Now, would I retire? No. I think we all, and I'm pretty sure Luck loves the game too, but, man, I play for more than just myself. We know I play for my family, but I also play for a lot of those folks back home that just didn't have the opportunity or didn't believe that a guy like myself can make it. You know what I mean? So that's one of the reasons why I carry so much with me, and the reason why I played the way I played the game. Like, I wasn't out there just playing because God gifted me with all his ability. No, there was tons of guys that had ability where I'm from. There was also tons of guys that I remember growing up watching that probably had a little more than me at the time. But I stuck to my dream. I stuck to the, making sure that I can just, hone in on my craft. And over the years, I got better. So on top of getting better, now I'm able to carry that weight of everything that these other guys couldn't carry, because for whatever reason that you didn't make it, I did. For whatever was stopping you or holding you down, it came my way too, but I shook it. So now I'm putting on for not alone just that name on the back of my jersey and for the man who blessed me with the talent, but for you back home just watching me who watched you. So we all grew up in different, upbringings.
Sure.
And I think a guy like Luck, it got overbearing, and it was something that he couldn't just hold on. And I think one of the biggest things to him, when I really listened to him, you got to think about it. As a quarterback, as the franchise quarterback, he kept hearing every day in the media, Luck going to play this week. Oh, Luck's going to be ready by week 1. Deep down inside, he knew he wasn't healthy to be ready by week 1. So he look, 3 years ago, 2016, I barely practiced and had to play, gutted out. I can't see myself doing that again. I can't be that player for this team. So if I can't do it, why be here? And that's why he made the decision he made.
The homie has some horrific injuries, too. Yeah. Lacerated spleens, you name it. So it's not like, we're not talking about turf toes. It's a lot more than just that, too.
He was a gladiator out there.
He was. All right, Tana, I hold here. I'm trying to get the sound effect. It's kind of weak ass. They need to add that in post. Help a brother out. Maybe with a little drum roll, too. Our predictions for the regular season. I would like to say, before we begin this, because I have one controversial pick in here that I'm going to throw out immediately. This is before the regular season starts, and I'm assuming a significant player will be signed before the first regular season game. If that does not happen, I reserve the right to, sound effect, change my picks. I'm starting here, Tana. NFC East. I think the Cowboys are going to sign Zeke. I think they're going to win the NFC East.
Wrong. I think the Cowboys can actually sign, Zeke and still lose.
Who do you got winning?
I got the Eagles winning.
Okay.
I got the Eagles being a for show, playoff team.
I just want to state for the record, no one with the nickname Cowboy Killer can ever pick the Cowboys to win anything.
No, but
I hate the Cowboys too, but I do think they'll win the East.
I'm going to give it to you how I know it. And don't get me wrong, regardless of what I did in my years of playing, I'm going to tell you who I believe in. And the Cowboys is one of them I don't. Now, the defense have gotten better. Because I remember the years I told you for the years that I played, that was to me was their dark horse. Not their dark horse, but that was their weak link. That was the area that they needed to touch up on a little bit. Offensively, they had so much firepower, but defensively, they had one or two guys, and that wasn't getting it done.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so I think the Cowboys are going to win it just because you mentioned the defense. I actually think Dak wants to get paid, and I think he'll take that next step in his career. Listen, I'm a college football junkie. You know this. Mm-hmm. I watched every snap of Dak Prescott at Mississippi State. I was actually a huge Dak Prescott college fan, okay? This guy ran all over the field. You would have thought he was Michael Vick. But he gets to the NFL, and he becomes a pocket passer. I'm like, what the hell's going on? If you notice, playoffs, when they make the playoffs late in the season, December, games Cowboys used to lose, they're winning now because he's running more. What I think is going to happen is Dak has worked on his pocket game. I think he is who he is there. I don't think he can get much better. But now he's going to implement running back into his game, which is more natural for him, in my opinion. I think he'll have a big year. I think their defense is good. I do not trust Jason Garrett. That's why I don't think they're a Super Bowl team or a Super Bowl winner. I think the Cowboys will win the East because they're the best team, and I do not trust Carson Wentz to stay healthy. In the rest of the NFC, Tana, we agree on the winners. NFC North, we both say Vikings.
Vikes.
Kirk Cousins is going to have a huge regular season and lose big games. We agree?
Yeah, I think Cook is going to be a great big deal for that offense. I think getting him.
Dalvin?
Yeah.
Yep.
Getting him going. That, to me, I think that's what was missed the last 2 years, even the year that Kirk wasn't there. But having him this year healthy, and you saw him take one for 80, he's that kind of guy. He's the Zeke for them. He can do it out the backfield in the passing game and the run game, and he's a home run hitter. He's a game breaker.
NFC South, we both have the Saints. Now, here's another caveat from me. If Cam Newton didn't get banged up in the preseason, I was ready to say –
I don't think it mattered.
Well, they're saying it's not a big deal and he'll be fine. But I got to tell you something, man. I look at Andrew Luck and all that stuff. Cam, the shoulder, now a foot – He gets absolutely blasted. Cam has always struck me as the type that likes commercials and music and outside interest and art, right, and fashion. I wouldn't be shocked if he walks away. So I'm going to go Saints by default, but I think they take a step back at maybe like a 9-7. We agree on NFC West Rams. We agree there, right?
Yeah, Rams.
Okay. Wild cards.
Mm-hmm.
I have Seahawks and Eagles for my wild card.
Now I have Seahawks and Redskins.
Okay, so Seahawks, Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, enough said. You think the Redskins are going to make the playoffs? Santana Moss.
Chance, man. Honestly, I think they have a chance. I think the only thing right now that's going into the season that I'm skeptical of is just the left side of our offensive line. Everything else I can live with. I can live with Case Keenum being a quarterback. You know, one of the things about Case Keenum that, you know, we all probably going to question. We can't question him being a starter. He's been there before. We got to question, can he lead a franchise? Can he lead the franchise to where they're trying to go, where they're destined to go? But can he lead for the sake of his career? That's where he's at right now. You had a situation where we know you can be a backup. You can go anywhere and be a backup. But how many opportunities are you going to have to be a franchise quarterback? This is his last opportunity to me. So with this opportunity, you know, Case Keenum had to go out there, and he don't have to play lights out. He have to play good football. He just have to go out there and orchestrate the offense accordingly and make sure he can put up points, get them good drives, and put the defense in situations where they're not coming off the field. They have to get ready to come back on the field. Sustain drives and make them put up points and find the open guy. I've seen that this preseason, and that's why I have a big, you know, I got one of those Uncle Ruckus eyes. You know how Uncle Ruckus look on I can't even lift my eye that big, but I got one of them eyes on him this year because I really feel like he's going to be that kind of a player. Yep. And the sky's the limit, man. You know what? Let's not sit here and you know, this is the first preseason or offseason. You can say the Redskins under the radar, man. We had a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. I think the biggest thing going on right now is Trent Williams. We're going to solve that eventually. I'm hoping Donald Penn is knock on wood if you're with me. if you've been watching Hard Knocks.
Knock on wood if you're with me,
man.
Let's
hope Donald Penn can stand up and really, you know, solidify his slot and his spot, you know, as our left tackle. But I think either Flowers or Wes Martin got to step up big to be our left guard. And with all that said and done, man, we have a pretty good team put together.
I completely disagree with you that the Redskins make the playoffs, although
that's cool.
I do think there's two teams I'm going to make a fortune from this season betting on. It's going to be betting the Redskins under and betting them to cover in these, like the first game. People are acting like the Eagles are going to blow them out. That ain't happening. That's going to be a close game.
What's the spread on that game?
Oh, the last I looked,
I'm putting a
Rob,
stack
check this. The last I looked, I swear I saw it at like 8-9 points. And I'm thinking, no way in hell, okay? The Redskins will be in close games, and they will always trend to the under because of that defense, okay? The other team is the Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills get so much hate, rightfully so, they've earned it. That kid can play quarterback.
No, you're right.
And
the defense was
number one last season. I think the Bills could push. I actually think
I won't be surprised if they one of the teams they actually beat the Patriots this year.
I think the Bills and Jets could both make playoff pushes. Yeah. Those are both teams I'm betting on. So I am going to go Eagles is my wild card instead of Redskins because I think just on paper their roster's too damn good. Carson Wentz, I don't trust to stay healthy. I think he's excellent. I don't trust him to stay healthy, but I think the Eagles will figure it out because they're that good. All right, let's go to AFC. AFC East, we agree. Patriots win again, even though we both – it sounds like we both like the Bills and Jets,
I like Bills and Jets, but I you know, and I circle Jets mainly because that quarterback and just knowing what they're doing on the defensive side. And then Le'Veon is in that backfield, man. Mm-hmm. Things are going to be cracking over there. And then you got your boy, you know, Crowder over there in the slot. So they're going to be doing some great stuff on offense.
You know, it's interesting about that division for a second. The Patriots will probably win again. We both agree on that because they're the Patriots. But Father Time's undefeated, Tana.
Yeah, he comes knocking at that door sooner or later.
There's only two things that are undefeated. Father Time and the other one, it's a family show, so we're not going to say it, but you know where I'm going. So to me, Belichick and Brady are both going to retire at some point. Right?
Yeah.
The Bills, the Jets, and if Josh Rosen can play, the Dolphins all have kind of a bright. They're all going in the right direction.
That whole little area. I mean, those four teams. It's not going to be. It's not going to be an easy road for the Pats.
I think this is the first year they will sweat
all
to
those
win the
guys
division.
Going to be able to compete this year.
Okay, we agree. So we'll go from there to the AFC North. I'm taking the Steelers. I'm sick of hearing about the Browns. I get Lamar Jackson's the new Vic, but and I see the Steelers lost AB and Le'Veon, but I'm like, they still have Big Ben. And if anything, now they're under the radar, which scares me.
One of the reasons why I'm picking the Steelers, because when you lose what they're lost, everyone just almost counts you out. You know, they say, hey, it's a wrap for those guys. Then I just turn on the preseason game the other day, and that's what I've been doing. I would literally turn on NFL Network and watch all the stuff I missed. I turned this game on. Big Ben hadn't played the whole preseason, and I see Big Ben, Juju,
slanging.
And then you hit Washington come in, and I'm like, so this guy Washington is the guy I was high on 2 years ago.
Yep.
Now, if you think about how AB became AB, he was a guy behind a bunch of guys.
Sure was.
This guy Washington, he can be that guy. He can be an AB-like type wide receiver for the Steelers.
They have a history of that.
And his body type is like a Juju. They got two big body now back there. So you look at those guys, man, they can really do it. And the reason why I give those guys a nod, because of the quarterback position. I think when you have a guy like Big Ben, man, like I said before, Big Ben could call my mama out of her name. And guess what? Might punch in your eye outside those lines. But when we in between those lines, me and you are the best of friends. Just get me the rock. So we'll find a way to make this thing do what it do. But at the end of the day, I'm not leaving because of that. I'm going to make sure that I can keep putting this bread on my table. You know what I'm talking about? That bread and that meat to feed minds. I'm not going to sit here and be in my feelings about it. So beyond all that foolishness that went on with that, Big Ben is still Big Ben. Big Ben has gave his receivers after receivers after receivers after receivers a chance to go get paid elsewhere. Think I'm leaving Big Ben? Heck no. So I believe he's going to make Washington a hell of a wide receiver. He's already made Juju one. And Connor's he has a story to tell. You know, he's a guy that shouldn't be there. He understands what it's like to sit on a bed and say, you know, these could be your last days. So every time he runs the ball, he runs for a different reason. And that's why I like to see this guy do what he does. And guess what? Their offensive line is still intact. One of the better offensive lines in the league.
Santana Moss is a goddamn lie. If you call his mama, his daddy, any of his siblings, anyone with the last name Moss, or Moss, like literally on the grass, Moss, out of their name, he will beat your ass.
We gonna fight, but at the end of the day, we gonna play some football. I ain't finna be holding on to that. I ain't gotta be your friend. You know how many guys I didn't care for being friends? It's guys' names I don't know now that I play with. I see them in the street. Hey, boy, what's up? How you doing? I ain't remember his name. But between them lines, we was the best of friends. Let's go get it, you know?
AFC.
I ain't got to know you. Forget that. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to make no friends. If we ain't friends, guess what? I'm the guy that in the locker room that I was in between everything. I had the guys over there that would come over here, Tana, asking me a question. The guys over there, Tana, the guys over here, Tana. I was that guy.
You're the peace treaty.
Yeah. You know, the guys who was over there in the huddle, you know, with the Bibles, they could come holler at Tanner. The guys who was over there shaking the dice and playing cards, they could come holler at Tanner. The guys over here listen to Gothic, they could holler at Tanner. And the guys over here who just over here, they don't know what the hell they got to do. They could come holler at me. I got something to tell them. So I never been the guy. I never was one of those guys that I'm going to take a side.
You weren't cliquish.
No.
So you was a cool lunch table. Anybody could come kick it.
At the end of the day, I'm in my locker. If you want to holler at me, come holler at me. I ain't finna go sit up with nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to go. Like I say, I didn't put nothing on me, but I knew I had a job at task. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters between those lines, man.
Facts.
When we in those meeting rooms getting the game plan and how we live to get to Sunday, that's all that matters. Man, I don't care if you ever invite me over your home, to your house, to meet your wife, to say hey to your kids. So what? I don't even have to know their name. Throw me the ball, and we're going to be all right. Period.
In the AFC South, we both have the Texans, especially now with Andrew Luck moving on, right?
Yeah.
We agree there. I think Deshaun Watson's about to take the next step, I think. Yeah. I hope.
I saw some in the preseason, though. It's still like, those sacks, man. He got to get away from that.
They can't protect him.
He got to, and that's one of the things.
Oh, you think it's him?
Yeah, it's him. He hold on to the ball a little too much. So hopefully he get rid of that ball.
Because see, I feel like it's a line.
It's a line too. They need a left tackle.
Combo.
They need a left tackle. That's why everybody was trending in that area saying Trent go over there and we get Clowney or get somebody, you know. But that's not happening.
No, it's not gonna happen.
You know, the Redskins too tight.
They're talking about the boy from Miami, Tunsil.
Tunsil going there and Clowney going there. Yeah,
right.
Right.
Which would be crazy. AFC West. Chiefs, right? I mean, need we say more? AFC wildcards, though, we differ again. We both like your former team, the Jets. Okay, so we're there. Darnold, Le'Veon, it makes sense. But I like the Broncos, and you like another team from the division.
Raiders.
Now, you've been watching too much goddamn
Knock on wood if you're with me.
You've been watching too much Hard Knocks. You're sipping the Kool-Aid.
I'm not sipping it. Look.
Oh, go ahead, Tana. You're not chugging the Raider Kool-Aid, are you? You just basked in the glow of the Raider Kool-Aid.
I'm drunk. I'm high off Kool-Aid right now. Sugar high.
Come on, Tana.
I'm there.
The Raiders.
Look, man, the Raiders. Look, a wild card. A wild card team. I'm not saying they're the world beaters. They're a wild card. Look, one of the things about John Gruden, I've always believed in him. I love John Gruden's offense from way back when he was with the Raiders. That one time when I saw Jerry Rice and Tim Brown go for 1,000 yards, and them boys, both of their hairline was back here. And I'm like, man, if those old guys can do it, it's all about the offense. And don't get me wrong, they were still cutting grass.
Where was their hairline?
Back here.
Jerry had a nerve to have braids.
Man, look, Jerry Rice and Tim Brown, I was a young pup. And it's crazy because I was on the Jets at the time.
Yeah.
And we beat them to get into the playoffs. We beat them the last game of the season to make it to the playoffs. And guess who we saw in the first round of the wild card? Them.
Oh.
And they spanked our ass. Get Charlie up out of here. But, man, Jerry Rice, Tim Brown,
yep.
The running back.
On that
Charlie
team,
Gardner.
Charlie Gardner. Did they have Rich Gannon?
Rich Gannon.
That team. That was Super Bowl team. They didn't win, but they went.
They was the most dynamic offense I had saw on the other side of that, other sideline watching it live ever. And it was number old guys.
Was that the Super Bowl run?
Did they beat y'all? They might have went to the Super Bowl that year.
Because they lost to Chucky. They lost to Gruden in Tampa. Was that
but Chucky was still a coach then. So no.
Oh, he was still
a coach then. Yeah, that was the year that the Tom Brady rule came in effect.
Oh, the tuck joint.
The tuck joint, yeah. So that was that year.
Oh, they got robbed. They should have won.
They got robbed. So watching them then, I became a John Gruden fan. And I'm like, man, if I ever get a chance to play for an offense like that, I want to be a part of it. And I never got lucky. And then years from there, Chucky goes down to Tampa, and he gets a Joey Galloway. Joey Galloway barely practiced, and the man will go out there and light up the damn scoreboard with just coming in for a couple of plays here and there, spotting the guy. And when I got a chance to play with Joey in 2010, when the guy Shanahan came here, he told me what Chucky did for him, how he preserved him, and how he extended his career. But I'm just like, man, I knew it was something about John Gruden. So that's why I'm a believer. I think that, and I saw some flashes of some guys that I think going to make the team. I think that kid, Doss, he's weighing 89. It's crazy. I like him. He's a nice receiver. The running back, he has a story to tell. He's a guy that got in there, the guy from Bama. He's going to be real good. The two receivers alone, if you don't even think about Antonio, you think about the kid that came over from San Diego.
Tyrell Williams?
Was it Williams?
Yeah.
He was a big-time receiver over there, and not San Diego, Los Angeles
L.A.
Chargers.
Yeah, Tyrell Williams.
He's a big-time,
He's
threat.
good.
He's a big threat. And then I like the tight end guy he was a guy that's been on drugs, got a nice story
too about
I
saw
him.
that.
Hard Knocks give you a chance to see all this stuff.
Learn the stories.
But at the same time, just putting, as a player, knowing players, I think they have a pretty good team. I think the makeup is pretty put together. So I'm looking forward to these guys. And I like that safety they got, man. That young buck over there, he's hitting heads, man. He's banging heads, and he reminds me of a good friend of mine. So I'm looking forward to seeing these guys play some good football, and I think they can be a wild card team.
Okay, I'm going Broncos, and here's why. Same division, different team. That defense and that pass rush specifically is ridiculous. Chubb and Von Miller.
Yeah, you got a point.
And you got to remember, a lot of times with teams like that, we say the same thing about the Redskins with a good defense, and you got this and you got that. You're a quarterback away. They go and get Joe Flacco, who the Ravens, rightfully so, kind of said, hey, you got to get up out of here. This young boy's nice.
Got a lot left in his tank.
Joe had a lot left. Joe got hurt. That's how Lamar Jackson got in. He wasn't – now – he was having a very Joe Flacco-like regular season.
The offense wasn't, catering to Joe either.
No.
So.
But, look, I'm not going to act like, Joe Flacco's Joe Montana. I'm just saying he wasn't bad. he got hurt. Lamar came in. Boom. The rest is history. So I get the Ravens' position. I'm certainly not blaming them for letting him go, but he has game left. John Elway recognized that. He did the same thing with Peyton Manning, if you remember, when he left the Colts. So to me, I think the Broncos have a shot. They're one of those under-the-radar teams. I think they'll sneak into the playoffs, and they may even pull an upset. All right, let's get to the shebang-a-bang. NFC winner, AFC winner, who meets in the Super Bowl. Now, to be fair, my Super Bowl pick, as I told you, was the Colts. So I've had to go a different AFC team now.
No, it's fair. It's fair.
I'm going Chiefs. I believe they will have a regular season in which they will again host playoff games. Now, I know what the haters are going to say. How many times do we have to have the Chiefs lose at home in the playoffs for you to get off that bandwagon? This Patrick Mahomes kid is different level. He will come back down to earth this year. He's not going to throw 50 touchdowns. But I've noticed the more I hear him talk, he is so poised. He is so mature. Andy Reid's so good with quarterbacks. I think him coming back to earth will be the best thing to happen to the Chiefs. They won't blow everyone out in the regular season. They won't put up 50 points a week. I think they'll be a normal, very good team, and they'll be under the radar by the time the playoffs start. I think the Chiefs will finally get over the Patriot hump. I believe Mahomes will take the torch from Brady. They'll be in the Super Bowl. Give me your AFC pick and why.
You got a good point. And if you think about it, last year the Chiefs they was a offsides penalty away from winning that game against the Pats in the playoffs to go on to the Super. They was going to be the Super Bowl team last year. I'm kind of on the fence with both of those teams, the Pats or the Chiefs. The reason why I would say the Pats because I feel like this is the last one.
Okay,
this is the last hurrah. You know what? Brady, Belichick, they're going to go out on top. And I say that because I saw these guys been put in situations the entire year where the offense stunk. Didn't have Gronk half of the time. Brady wasn't putting up big numbers. Found a way to get it done. Defense giving up a bunch of, you name it, found a way to get it done. So I'm going Pats for the AFC. I'm a firm believer. That's
okay.
All.
NFC.
I'll make it short. I'm going to start it off.
Okay, go ahead.
Saints, finally.
Saints.
They back.
So
the last 2 years from the miracle in Minnesota to last year getting robbed by the officials, you know what? It don't strike twice. I mean, they say what? It don't strike 3 times? It strikes twice? Whatever they say, they go on this time. Put it like that.
I'm going Cowboys.
Third time's the charm.
I'm going Cowboys.
But this boy here is loony. You hear me?
And Cowboys are going to I think Cowboys are going to Super Bowl. They're going to lose to Chiefs. So your Super Bowl champion is who? I'm going Chiefs.
I say the Saints get there. The Saints going to bring it home. They're going to win. They'll beat the Pats in the Super Bowl.
Tana is going Saints, Pats, Saints, Super Bowl winner. I'm going Cowboys. Chiefs, Super Bowl, and I have the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right. There it is. I'm writing it all down.
Write it down. Put it on pen and pad.
It's in a scribe. We have beautiful graphics to match. We will definitely flash back to this episode. You know that. As the season goes on, someone goes, oh, and whatever, and we said they'd be a Super Bowl champ. We will flash back.
What up?
First episode of Power. Did you like it?
It was cool.
It's cool?
I didn't know what to expect. I'm kind of like to the point now, like just knowing this is the last year.
Yeah.
Or the last run, you kind of like, okay. I don't know if I should get all caught up into being that excited just to see it end. So
yeah.
The first episode, it wasn't nothing too flashy. It was typical Power to me.
This is a prediction episode for football. Let's predict Power. What happens? I think Tommy dies. Ghost ends up in jail. Tasha wins. Tasha's going to mastermind because if you think about it, if you really think Santana Moss, Tasha's tied to both and kind of controls both.
Well, the other buddy, he's gone. Ghost already got rid of her little lover.
Well,
he's
we
done.
don't know that.
No, we know that. He's done. Boy,
Then he just kind of disappeared. We don't have a confirmation. We don't have a body.
Ghost killed him, man. He gone.
He choked him out.
Yeah, he put him. He sent him somewhere floating.
Could have been a UFC choke. He
Yeah.
could be asleep.
No,
he might not be dead.
You know, when you're dealing with a guy like Ghost, you send him.
Think he's out?
Send him fishing, man.
I think Tasha wins somehow,
Let
and
the
I
Gators get him.
think Ghost is in jail. Tommy's dead. Your call.
If it happens, it's gonna happen later in the show. It's not gonna be nothing the next.
No, that's what I mean. But the final prediction for the show.
Well, you know, already hearing that it's a spinoff looming, you wonder what's the spinoff going to be about. I can already see that Tyreek is going to be the spinoff.
Oh,
He's becoming to be a ghost. You know, he's selling now in school.
You've been saying that.
So,
from the
and I
beginning.
knew just the way how it was going last year that I felt that Tyreek was going to have a big role somewhere later.
Yep.
And he don't see his dad no more. Not knowing his dad would off him too. But at the end of the day, that's how these kids are. So
No, you're right.
I don't see Ghost losing though. I don't see Ghost going to jail. He just it's Ghost. You can't put him in jail. You can't put him behind. But in order for it to end, it has to end to a point for him to not be Ghost, not be the guy that he's been all this season, all these seasons. So you have a point. I don't know about Tasha winning, but I could see Tyreek being on top and taking over the business.
Yeah, he might be the
And
guy.
All those guys that was around there following Ghost and Tommy, they going to some kind of way link up with Tyreek.
That's crazy. He might take them both out.
Because it's a lot of those young guys. A lot of those guys, they could probably not that old, but they're not too much.
Young.
Yeah, they're young. So I can see Tyreek saying, man, you know what? I'm up here with these college kids, and it's a lot sweeter than what it is over there in the streets, in y'all streets. So let's come over here and eat over here in college world, you know?
We will also flash back to this. Tana, taking L's. You know I love you like a brother from another mother. I love Julie Donaldson like a sister from another mister. But this goddamn bet y'all had.
It was an easy bet, man.
No, it wasn't. Okay, let me set the table.
I understand how you just broke it down to me, take the points.
Let me set the table.
We should just flat out won, man.
Julie Donaldson is a Florida Gator alum and just a huge fan of UF, as she should be. Tana, we all know Mr. 305, I call him. They bet that game, the opener of the college football season, and I told Tana, why not bet the points? Miami was a 7-point underdog, and I was like, y'all, it's going to be a field goal game. It's going to be a close game. Tana bet straight up.
Yeah.
UM's going to win.
That's how we do it, man.
And if we do, you got to wear UM stuff.
We don't want no moral victories over here, man. We gonna whoop you, and if we don't whoop you, then it is what it is.
So you told her if y'all win, she's got to wear Kane stuff.
She's
if
gonna wear
they
my jersey.
win,
Yeah.
you had to win Gator stuff.
Yeah.
What happened, Taylor?
It was fair. It was fair. See, I'm a guy that I'm from Florida. So at the end of the day, me being wrapped up in a little Gator blanket didn't hurt me, man. I grew up a fan of them.
He still threw up to you.
Let them know what time it is. You know, with all that stuff around me, baby, we still prevail.
If she was smart, she would say, you got to wear Gator stuff and you got to do the chop. You can't throw up to you because you damn sure snuck that you in.
Yeah, man. You know we smarter than that, man. But, you know, it was fair. You know, it was fair. And one of the things I take from it, like I shared with her and Charlie, is that I saw a lot of potential in us. So at the end of the day, if we just got blown out, man, I wouldn't be able to take it. I'd have sat up there bitter and mad and found a way to get around it. But to sit there and like I just spoke about moral victories, it's not a moral win for us because we still have to show up next week, or whoever we face next week and throughout the season. But the young quarterback showed a lot of potential. I knew the offensive line was going to be an area that was going to be real gray. Defensively, them guys still putting out that turnover chain, and I think eventually
they got 4 finger rings now.
Hey man, I said the offense need to have some sooner or later. Them boys say, let me get these brass knuckles on and with the Hurricanes on top of it. So it's dope, man. I love what they're creating over there, the vibe for the culture. Manning being Manning, just knowing, you know, what it takes to, you know, to get some excitement back into the university. He's going over and beyond to make those guys believers. And it's not the team, because they believe, the people around to believe in what he's doing. And I love it, man. I think sooner or later, man, we're gonna be able to be proud again, you know, as alum, to see these guys be the old Canes, you know what I mean, and relishing those victories and those championships all over again.
Santana, it's football season, man.
Yes.
Bana. Santana Moss Show podcast. It's a wrap. Football. We love you.
It's a Santana Moss Show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical.